Yankees kind of got handcuffed a little bit with who they had and what lineup they wanted to bring out. The Padres bullpen was just dude after dude after dude that threw 95 to 100, sliders, changeups, splitters. They were coming at us with everything.
Dodgers reliever Alex Vesia is a World Series champion, and he's joining FT for the first time. Alex, great to have you on. Congratulations on being a world champ, and welcome to FT, man. How has life been over the past week?
Thank you guys for having me. This has been unbelievable. Honestly, can't even describe it. Obviously the past 3-4 days I've been able to kind of take it in, but man, it's everything that I've ever dreamed of.
We had Max on the other day, Max Muncy on the other day, and he was talking about partying. Who did you see partying the most, and how hard did you party on which day? Was it the parade? Was it post game? Was it on the plane flying back?
So we kind of had a weird scenario with I would have loved to have stayed, but we had to fly out after the game. For me, it wasn't too much drinking or anything like that, or even partying. Obviously, after, so my parents were in town. We're actually at Game 5, and my two best friends and my wife. So out on the field, we celebrated a bunch. That was a super special moment for me. My dad's been a diehard Yankee fan since I could remember. So this one, he was a good sport about it. But man, we shared definitely a pretty intimate moment with everybody, and then with the team. I mean, the parade, man, that was the best. Everyone around me was partying. It was just a fun time, and we enjoyed it. And then we went over to Mookie's house, and that was fun too. I'd never been over to his place before, so I kind of got to take it all in and stuff. But I just was kind of trying to enjoy it. I'm not the biggest drinker or anything like that, but for this special moment, I mean, you have to.
Take me back to what you were saying about your dad being a big Yankees fan. He had to what was it when you guys, obviously I'm going to go out on a limb and say he was super proud of you. You guys made the World Series. How much of the text were you getting kind of in jest, man, I hope you guys enjoy your National League championship ring because the Yankees are going to win. What were some of the things he was saying?
So this starts all the way back to when we played the Yankees in July or June, in the regular season. He wanted to wear a half Yankee, half Dodgers jersey. And I told him that if he wore that, I would never get him tickets ever again. I said, there's no way you're wearing that. One, because I said, you're going to go viral. You would go absolute viral. It was hilarious. But obviously, as it started to get closer and closer, and when they clinched and then we clinched, I shot him a text. I said, "This is going to be the most exhausting week of your life," and he was a good sport about it. He's like, "I'm always going to support my son and whatnot." And I think what bugged him the most was all of his friends and all of our family know how big of a Yankee fan he is. And everyone was just texting him about, "Oh, your son, this and that," right? And I think that was a pretty funny moment for me because I knew this was going to happen, man. I mean, the Yankees, they have a great team, and obviously, being on the Dodgers and stuff, that's our goal, is to be in the World Series every year. So, yeah, it's I knew it was going to come eventually. Obviously, in the 2024 season, hey, I'll take it.
I got a quick follow-up to that. How much did going and playing the Yankees motivate you to get back from missing the CS so that you made sure you were pitching in that series?
Oh, when I walked off the field and I got into the training room and they were trying to assess me and whatnot, that was immediately my first thing. I was like, all right, I'm gonna be out for the CS. I have to be ready to go for the World Series. I said, there's no way I'm missing this. There's no way I could just sit on the side and just be content with that, So I was definitely pushing some of the trainers probably a little bit harder than most, but I felt good day in and day out going through it. And you know how it is. You just like you check boxes and it keeps getting better. You just keep rolling with it, especially with the small time frame. Um, it was kind of just you have to give it all you got. I was willing to do whatever it took. That was my mentality.
Yep, last part of the season, can't hold anything back now. Can't remember what movie that is, but I remember saying that a lot when I was a kid. Another one for you. So this is something I'm so glad we get to talk to you because I was on the radio a few weeks ago and we were trying to come up. So there's the Soto Shuffle. We all know about the Soto Shuffle. I don't know actually if you
Yeah.
faced it in the series, but we all know about the Soto Shuffle. But I think that people need to realize that Alex Vesia has got one of the best K struts in the major league. So we were trying to name it, and we came up with, because your last name's Vesia, so like that limits us to V's. We came up with the Vesia Vaunt. What do you think of the Vesia Vaunt? Because
Vaunt.
it was
I like it.
it was going. You were all, dude. You were doing it every time. I loved it. I was like walking around with you. I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Vesia Vaunt. You like that? You want to roll
I
with
like
that?
it. I'm in. That's cool with me.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Vesia
cool with me.
Vaunt. We'll book it. We'll book it.
All
Yeah.
right.
We I mean, I did that stuff in college, like there's a video of me, I think it's on my Instagram where I strike a guy out and I'm walking off the field and it's just like for me it's part of me blacks out for sure. The other
Yeah.
part is like I want the strikeout so bad. And when I get the strikeout, like I don't know. Yeah, it's like a blackout moment. And the funniest thing was when I was playing with David Price in 21. He would call it a suitcase carry because my arms would be stuck right at the
Suitcases.
side of
Yeah.
my hand, my sides, and I'd be just barreling into the dugout. And all the coaches are like not trying to give me high fives or anything like that because I would hurt their hands or whatever. But like I don't know, I just it's the fired up mentality, man. You're only out there for 15 pitches maybe. Like I want to make them count, and plus like if I don't have that edge that day, that that one moment can absolutely ruin a whole season. You've watched so many guys that have one bad game and it turns their 2 ERA into a 5, and
Yep.
it's like that how focused and just day in and day out you have to be as a reliever. Like my goal is to be hot every night. Obviously Doc does a great job and we have a great relationship going back and forth with making sure that I get a day of rest or I'm available and all that. So it's like, but to be ready to go day in and day out, man, it takes a special human and man, it's definitely, I don't think it's brought to light enough.
So let's bring it to light a little bit because you had to sit out, like we said, you had to sit out the NLCS, and everybody
Yeah.
sees you on the mound. You are an absolute just bulldog out there, and I can tell, I can
Yeah.
hear it's that mentality that you're just going to get after it, whether it came from playing Division II, whether it came from no D1 offers, wherever it is, like it built up
Yeah.
to the person, the persona that you are. How was it sitting there in the NLCS? Because I talked about it since the World Series is over. Sitting in a playoff game and not playing, not being able to do anything, for me was one of the most nerve-wracking things. When I got in the game, it changed. Like it was like, oh, well, this is just regular. I'm going to be who I am. How was it sitting through that NLCS, seeing your team lose a game, seeing your team being
Right.
down and having to come back?
Yeah, I think having guys like Landon Knack and Ben Kasparius gave me peace, right? Where I'm able to talk with them, give them advice, or even just I was still with the guys, like our group in the bullpen for the whole playoffs, right? We were so close throughout the whole season. Our relationships got closer and closer, and I mean, when I say like we're a family and like we love one another, like that's the truth. Like it's just everyone. There's no ego there. Nobody wants a specific inning. Nobody needs a title, right? Like, and that goes a long way. And that I have a bunch of respect for everybody on the team. But going back to Landon and Ben, right? Like seeing them go out and pitch and get those opportunities, right? Like I was like living through them, and it's like if I can give them a little advice or just, just kind of be there and let them know that like I had the same experiences when I went through my first playoff in 21, right? Like just to feed off of all of their energy, right? And then, letting the big dogs eat, right? Like, it's always fun watching them, and in New York facing the Mets, like, I have all the confidence in them, man. It was great. So it wasn't as nerve wracking as I thought. For me, I trust all those guys down there. Every single one of them. And it's like when you have a guy like Brent Honeywell out there, it's cracking jokes and making everybody laugh. Like we have a good time down there.
That's good. Would you have blown out? I know you go into an injury and then you're coming back and you're like, I'm ready to go. In your mind, would you been okay if I help this team win and I blow out and this ruins my career? Is it worth it to win a World Series?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with how things go in the game of baseball, right? Where I was dealing with like rib intercostal muscle like stuff, right? It didn't change my throw. Everything, all my soreness was normal, right? I didn't have extra soreness in the back of my shoulder. I was still using my legs. So I checked out a bunch of boxes. And when I threw my bullpen on that Sunday or whatever day it was, that was a huge sigh of relief for me because I felt good coming out of it. I definitely, you know, winning a World Series is that's the highest achievement that you can, that's something that I've thought about since I was a little kid in my front yard hitting a wiffle ball, right? Like you always think about that. And it's wild that I was actually able to live out a dream where you come in with bases loaded and 2 outs and you need to get 1 out, right? Like that's a storybook ending. So yeah, it's definitely worth it, and it's also when you look around at the group of guys that you're playing with and all the stuff that they're dealing with as well, you know, it it puts into perspective that's like, I'm gonna give it all I got because all the guys around me are also giving it all I got.
This is great. No, really enjoying hearing about this. And, we of course have heard from some of your teammates, even your manager. So I'm just going to throw a couple quotes your way and get your reaction. I'll do kind of two at the same time here. So Dave Roberts said the other day, he felt like the Padres series with the World Series. And then your buddy Joe Kelly said he put the Yanks ranked like 8th or 9th. So what did you think when you heard that? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so facing the Padres, we face them so much. They know our tricks and we know theirs, right? Like I didn't even really need to do a lot of scouting report stuff because I'd already faced them. I faced all those guys since we in the beginning of the season when we went to Korea, right? Like we faced them so much, and it's like they're a hot team. They added a few guys in their bullpen, right? Like they were really good, and and in those games, they're tight games, and yeah, I mean that was definitely a really big series for us, and that was, I mean, we played some really good baseball. So yeah, I mean that was an awesome series. It's also I'm from San Diego, so it's always a little bit more the spotlight's a little bit more on that because 90% of my friends are gonna text me and be like, "Oh, don't take it too hard on the Padres, right?" or whatever. And so it's like that series for me is always more because that's a hometown thing, and so playing at Petco is always fun, and their stadium's rocking, man. I mean, Dodger Stadium, Petco, New York, even Philly, right? Those are the right off the top of my head that like they're loud, their fans enjoy it, right? Like also Atlanta, right? All of those teams that like their fans make or break those playoff games.
What about the Yankees comment? What did
I
you
mean,
think? Like, do you think the Padres were a better, like, this could be more of like a reasonable question too. Like, do you think the Padres were better than the Yankees in terms of challenge to face?
yeah, probably. I mean,
Mhm.
I could say that. I think their lineup they could switch guys out a little bit more. I think the Yankees kind of got handcuffed a little bit towards the end with who they had and what lineup they wanted to bring out. Um, but like you know, the Padres bullpen going even sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth, right? Like man, they that bullpen was just dude after dude after dude that threw 95 to 100 sliders, changeup, splitters. Like, I mean, they were coming at us with everything. So I think it makes it a lot harder for our lineup to navigate that. But we did a great job of that. I mean, obviously, like watching the games with getting into deeper counts and making them make more pitches, and when we can work a count to 2-2 rather than just getting out in those first couple pitches, right? It changes the whole game.
Absolutely. Now that we're in the off season and it's time to train and get ready,
You know it.
I want to talk a little bit about just being a member of the Dodgers, and something I notice for everyone that goes over there is
Yeah.
willingness for guys, pitchers especially, to make changes, learn a new pitch, switch to a sinker, whatever it is. And
Right.
you, for example, have one of the best riding fastballs in the major leagues, one of those fastballs
Yeah.
where you could tell them it's coming and they couldn't
Yeah.
see it anyways. It hit it. And it pairs with that slider really well. Was this something that was trained for? Were you a sinker guy before and they're like, hey, we think your fastball is going to be good? Or did you kind of come in kind of knowing there was something there, and then the Dodgers like, hey, let's really lean in on this? Because it's pretty clear at this point how you like to attack guys, especially lefties. And I'm always fascinated in it. I was one of the guys that early in the IVB renaissance, I bought in right away because I was the same type of thing. So is that something that you actively try to train for? And this season, is there, with the return of the sinker, return of the cutter, all that kind of stuff, is there another pitch that you're working on to maybe mess around with in spring training?
Yeah. So when I got traded over, Connor McGinnis and Mark Pryor kind of both sat me down and they were like, hey, we want you to kind of only throw your fastball this spring training. And at that point, I had no changeup, I had no slider. I thought I could throw a curveball, wasn't very good. And it was shocking to me. I was like, these guys only want me to throw a fastball. And for that whole spring training in 21, I just threw fastballs, fastball after fastball. And I had some pretty decent success, right? And over the course of that season, we tinkered around with the slider, but still, I could just go to work because no one had seen that vert, right, with a fastball. So I got away with it and could do that. And, kind of same with the 22 season where I threw mostly fastballs. I was able to throw a slider and it worked, right? Go to, now moving forward to the 2023 season, I was throwing the fastball. It was cutting a little bit more. And I think that was just kind of a mechanic stuff. I was pulling off really hard and just my wrist positioning and everything was a little bit off. So with that, guys were getting hits a lot easier. It was just going right into their bat path. And then with this slider, I wasn't landing it for a strike. So when I threw it, it was always a ball. So as a hitter, after seeing me for now 2 years, I established myself a little bit. Hitters are going to game plan for me and probably practice hitting the high fastball. I needed to make that change, and that's where Evan Phillips and he sat me down at dinner after a rough outing. He was like, hey, I don't want to be, the knife that goes even deeper, but can I talk to you, about your slider? I'm like, absolutely. What do you got? And he was like, you just need to land it more. It was a very low percentage when I threw it that I would throw it for a strike. He's like, all you need to do is just show them that you can land it for a strike, and it's going to open up the fastball so much more. And as soon as I started doing that right at the All-Star break, everything else, was really, really, really good. So going into that offseason, that's all I focused on was throwing a slider. Basically, for me, it's arm side and down, right? Because my misses, I would just yank it. I would hold on to it too
off the
long, and
plate.
it would just be off. It would start off and end off. And my best friend catches me. He plays catch with me pretty much every day. Catches my bullpens and stuff, and I just told him to stick his glove just on that side, and we would just pepper. And it wasn't from 60 feet. I was throwing this thing from 40 feet at low intent because I could throw it 200 times in the offseason and not be sore. But it was just to get the feel of it being out in front and arm side. That's all I wanted. And then going into spring training, Connor and he made a small little tweak where just where my eyes, right, where I was like looking instead of, trying to hit the glove. It's like I'm throwing this kind of in that, it's like the space in between the batter and then the catcher. That's where that's where I look when I throw it. And it's a wild concept, but it works. I'm literally throwing it into no man's land, knowing that it's going to move and be where the catcher is. So that was something that once that clicked and I got a good feel for it, I mean, this year my slider percentage was way up, throwing it for a strike, then also being able to expand with it once I got to 2 strikes. All of those were super key, things like moving forward. And then we went into a little bit more of like the scouting report because, I did a little bit of scouting report, but not a bunch, right? I try to keep it simple where I want to know if the guy's with runners on, right? Is he aggressive or is he passive, right? And then it's like, does he walk a lot? Does he have a high walk percentage, or is it, is he going to be swinging, right? Because that dictates pretty much where I'm going to throw my first fastball, or if I need to throw the slider to get him off the fastball. So it's super, super like, for me it seems pretty basic. I mean, I think for most, like, but it works for me, and it's like just, some guys with the data and everything, I mean, man, you listen to them talk and you're like, what in the world? That's what you're thinking when you're up there? Like, good grief. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know what that's like.
Trevor, that's
right?
you.
You can go
That was
down-
me.
you
I
can
was
go
that
down
guy.
stuff.
That's me.
It's just, man, it's just so brutal. But, and from there, like, this offseason, I would love to implement a changeup. I get so like wrist happy, right? Like when I throw my baseball, like I don't know for a fact, but I'm guessing is like when I throw, it's like the ball's like
You're
back.
underneath the ball. Yeah, you're underneath the
Oh,
ball.
big time. Like I'm like,
I got a grip for you. I'll DM you on Twitter, dude.
that's fine. But but like I tuck my thumb big time, like underneath the baseball. Like it's gone. Like, most people, when you see them, they grip it and their thumb's all the way like around it.
Yeah.
Right, where I'm all the way
Out of the way.
underneath, so there's a little bit of like give, and which
Yeah.
is why I think it like
Right.
kind of kicks and has that vert. Now with a changeup, and I'm throwing it underneath, like I'm throwing changeups with 19 vert, like that ain't gonna do it, like it needs to have some bottom to it. And then also I've run into, it's like when I try to manipulate it, like hitters are just like, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look like out of your hand. Like
Different.
your heater's just like super clean, and then you have like your hand is out and it like rolls. And I'm like, you know what? Sticking with the fastball and the slider might just be it, because this year I've had a lot of success against right-handers as well with it. And but I would love to be able to throw a changeup, but I mean, sometimes you just have to, be content and all right with what you got. But yeah, we'll see. I honestly haven't talked to any of any of my pitching coaches or anything like that since we've won. Right, like it's kind of the last thing I want to do is get on a phone
Take
call
a
and
little
go,
break.
hey, what do we got? Like
Recover a little bit.
yeah, but we're back working out already. I took 3 days off of lifting and whatnot. Obviously, throwing program and stuff like that. That doesn't start up until basically November 26th. I'll do my plyos and stuff like that. First bullpen's probably January 6th or 8th, and then we got live at bats and stuff. I love doing that. Those are always a lot of fun, and getting college guys, or even King of JUCO, good old Eric Sim. He's fun to face, and it keeps baseball fun. Like just played 162 plus another, what was it, 15, 20 games, right? Like you're playing so much baseball, and it's like I always try to keep it fun and relaxed and loose, and like being in the bullpen, you know how it is. Like you don't really get locked in until about the 5th inning. Like it's it's just it is what it is. But
I wasn't even out there till the 5th inning. So yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah, you're talking to the wrong guy. You're talking to a bougie closer who's in there doing analytics, video.
I closed for 4 months.
There you go.
Yeah, he wanted to be a closer,
yeah,
but he's a starter.
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah,
you know, the more you can enjoy it, you know, it's just
better.
It's better. It's so much better.
Well, I got one for you. Or Kratz, you want to go? Because there's news today. So you ask it.
You made all these transitions as a pitcher. What do you think about your boy Mookie? What would you rather have? If you turn around, would you rather have him at second base or shortstop, or would you rather have his gold out in right field and him making this transition back to the infield now?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I think the news was yesterday. It might have been even this morning, right? And my first thought was like, all right, like cool, you know, like that's. I mean, he's the best pickleball player I've ever played against.
Of course he is.
It's unbelievable, right? When we went to his house for the party, he's got a nice bowling alley there. Watched him, one try, strike, like played pickleball. He's using this little trainer. It's like a super small paddle. Absolutely worked me and Michael Grove. Absolutely worked us. It was unbelievable. But he's just a natural athlete, right? And I mean, I don't think people realize how hard it is to be. He's played the outfield for how long, right? For him to transition into short, he's gonna make a few errors, right? Like it's gonna happen, right? And I think him getting a little bit of a break and then going back into it, I also think that's great for him. He's got a really good mentor. We've got Miggy Rowe, that's one of the best fielders out there to teach him and everything. And I mean, whether he's playing second, whether he's playing short, like I mean, I don't mind it at all, and I think having a nice clean slate for him to work on it, in the off season and then roll into spring training, I think it's going to be an easier transition for him rather than, what was it, halfway through spring training last year? They're like, yep, you're going to play short. It's like, like that's really hard to do, and but also I know he loves a challenge. I really do. Like that man's the most competitive dude that I know. And so, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to watching that, and just because I know he takes it so serious. This isn't something to just joke around about. So yeah, he's gonna be great. I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, we're excited to see what the team does this offseason too. So, dude, this was great to have you on here for the first time. Really appreciate it. Really, really good insight there. And I'll tell aspiring pitchers too out there, they got to listen to how you kind of went through your process with the Dodgers. But thanks for doing this, dude. Congratulations again. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
We'll definitely have you back. All right.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you so much. Like I said, this is all new. I'm not super into I do the social media stuff, but like talking with you guys has been great. So let me know when we got some more questions for me, and then Trev, send me that changeup grip.
I will, bro.
Trevor, send it
through momentarily.
Cool.
Dingers.
Awesome.
Can't be getting under changeups.
Can't be getting under it.
Nope.
This was great. You're awesome. Thanks, Alex. This was awesome.
Thank you.
Really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.